What's going on, everybody? I've been getting a lot of requests lately to make a video about how I got into the rockabilly scene, what inspired me, why did I pursue it. So without further ado, let's get into it. One of the things that really got me into loving all of this, I would have to say, for starters, is inspiration from movies. I grew up watching movies like The Wild Ones, Rebel Without a Cause, The Wanderers, let's say American Graffiti. Yeah, I really love those type of movies, and seeing how those people would act, seeing what happened in them, seeing the way that these people held themselves up, portrayed themselves, I really fell in love with that. I'll say that. And at first it wasn't just, oh, they're greasers, they're cool. It was just old-time TV. I even used to watch Johnny Carson. I fell in love with old-timey TV. Shows like The Twilight Zone, I Dream of Jeannie, Everybody Loves Lucy, or fuck, I can't remember exactly what that one's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Old TV shows really pulled me into this. Another thing that got me into this was Fallout. For those of you that have played Fallout, it revolves around old music. It's 50s in the future. They even have rockabilly fucking greaser games in each of the games. And just over the years of playing that, I started when I think I was maybe 6, I started playing Fallout. A little too young. I don't recommend doing that at that age. It's a brutal game. It's not appropriate for children. But that was another leading cause of me checking everything out and being like, okay, I like this. This seems like I fit in this. I really like this. I didn't really grow up around any rockabilly people, no greasers. I didn't grow up around that. I grew up watching it. I grew up hearing the music. I think I found the Stray Cats music when I was 8 years old, and I instantly fell in love with it. I loved it. Along with the Stray Cats, I found out about the Ink Spots, one of my favorite bands. And then the deeper that I delved into the music, I found out about Imelda May, I found out about Mad Sin, I found out about Demented Argo, and that's more of psychobilly. But I still love it. Now, falling in love with the image, I started dressing like it. I wanted to see how, it would look on me. And I loved it. I loved how it looked. So I started really looking into how these people acted, how they were, and I kind of fell into that. One of my favorite things growing up was finding hot rod magazines, and I would always just sit down in my bed and read them all day. Loved it. My favorite ones were rat rods, my favorite kind of hot rods. Those are so sick. They're so sick. I love those really fucked up looking cars. Like, those are honestly my favorite. So when I found out about hot rods and all the magazines, of course I started going to car shows. Car shows were my absolute favorite thing to go to. I didn't have it best growing up. I grew up in a really shitty city, really shitty parents, and one of the things that just, really made me happy was going to these car shows. I would meet people. I would look at all these cool fucking vehicles that were driving in. At that fucking age, man, young as hell, having adult conversations with all these people that are, that look exactly like how I want to look. They act exactly how I want to act. And I think once I started going to car shows on the regular is when I found out this is me. I'm going to do this. This is what I love. This is what interests me. Eventually, I even learned how to fucking fix up cars. Not a whole lot, but I know the basics. And I'm not talking about changing a tire. I'm not talking about changing the oil. I'm talking about way more than that. It's been years since I've touched a fucking car. I'll admit that. So, I'm a little rusty now. Eventually, down the road, I start doing it all the time. I'm dressing like this every day. I'm constantly listening to the music. I'm deeply involved in everything that there is to offer. And that's what I found out about Madman, Cryptic Art. That guy inspired me a lot. For those of you that have seen my old YouTube channel, it's called Dean Toohey. For those of you that have seen that one, you can tell that there's obvious inspiration from cryptic art. If you guys know who that is, I'm sure a lot of you do. Now, I wasn't trying to be like him, but in my old videos, it kind of seems that way. When I came back from the boarding school in Washington that I previously talked about, I made an Instagram account, and within a month I got 1,000, 2,000 followers doing this type of stuff. And I found a lot of like-minded people like me. That's how I actually met a lot of cool people in the community. Was through Instagram. Crazy. And I took a lot of tips and tricks from a lot of the people that were doing it. Started doing hair tutorials. My old channel only has 7 videos. It really doesn't have that much. But they gained a lot of traction for the amount of time that they were up. The last time I posted was 7 years ago. And then I just figured, hey, let's start the YouTube channel again, right? I started finding out about all these different pomades, different ways to style your hair. I started watching other people's tutorials, other people's videos. And it was really cool. I really loved that there was so many more people than me that were involved in it and doing what they love. One of the biggest things that I loved about the scene were the pinup girls. The girls who dressed like that. The Rockabilly girls. So I think my first 2-3 girlfriends were actually Rockabilly. They were in that scene as well, and it was pretty cool. I didn't have the most money. So a lot of the stuff that I had, my boots, my shirts, a lot of my stuff, even pomades, I ended up lifting from shops. I would steal a lot, and I don't recommend doing that. I don't condone that. It's not good. But I was really broke. I still am. I'm not rich. I'm pretty fucking poor, man. So I just don't steal anymore. But back then, I did that a lot. I thought, hey, man, I'm fucking rebelling. Let's do it. And honestly, it is rebelling, man. I mean, I was stealing from CVS, Walmart, Goodwills and shit. No mom and pop stores. I had what do you call it? Morals. That's what it is. I had morals. So while I was stealing, I was making sure I wasn't stealing from the wrong people, because I don't like that. Eventually, I like fully figured out what it was that I was doing. Being Rockabilly isn't just throwing on a coat. It's not cuffing your jeans. It's not wearing boots. It's not tucking in your shirt. It's your demeanor. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you act. It's rebelling against societal norms. And it took me a while to figure that out. It's not dancing to Chubby Checker. It's not doing the twist. It's not acting like you're in the 50s. In my opinion, it's conserving a culture that is considered not normal to today's standards. It's rebelling against everything that people say is normal that you should be doing. Now, I'm not going to get into detail on that right now, because it's a lot of stuff, man. Now, like I said earlier, when I was a kid, I was watching all these movies. I was getting into the music. Just old movies. They didn't even have to be Rockabilly or Grease or anything. The fucking Twilight Zone was one of my favorite shows, and that has nothing to do with being a greaser. Nothing to do with Rockabilly. I just really love that old tune. I really love how people held themselves, how people talked, how they treated their women. Now, there's some bad things that went on back then, too, obviously. Rampant racism, rampant sexism, a lot of bad shit. But I fell in love with that. I thought it was really cool. In a world where everything is so different nowadays, that stood out to me. One of the ways that I rebelled back then was in high school. I never really listened to my teachers. I never really wanted to listen to my parental advisors, I guess that you could put it. I was in foster homes after I got kicked out of my regular home. So after that, for me, it was rebelling against a system that was put in place to drag me down. I never really had much great foster homes. I had one. I ran away from there, and I shouldn't have. But I was rebellious. I thought I was doing what I knew best. But besides that, one of the ways that I rebelled was in high school against my teachers. And a lot of teachers that did not like me. Mrs. Roberts, Vista West, Bakersfield, California. That was one of them. I would always have my headphones in. It was history class, and she'd always be saying some nonsense. She did not like me. She picked favorites in her class. And that just never really stood right with me. So the way that I did it was I would always have my headphones in. I would never listen to a single thing. I would do my work that was on the board. That's about it. So she's saying some nonsense, and then she like tries to grab my attention while my headphones are in, so I take them out. I go, huh? And she says some shit. She's being rude. She's talking shit. So all in all, what I say is, fuck you, Miss Roberts. And yeah, I got sent out of class for that. And what's funny about that story is that a week later, I actually ran away from my foster home because there was just a lot of shit going on. And the cops showed up. And yeah, I ended up having to evade the cops. They showed up to the high school, brought me into their fucking quarters in the dean's office or some shit. And pretty much they were like, all right, you're going to stay here until your social worker comes. And I said, okay, yeah, we'll do it. My social worker comes and I say, hey, I got some homework I got to grab from my other class. Is it okay if I grab it? He says, yeah, it's fine. The officer uncuffs me, lets me out of the office. I go to that class. No, I don't. I run through other classes and fucking book my way toward the front of the school, and then I ended up running away and then fucking staying under the bridge until one of my friends got me. That was my form of rebellion. Let's say that. Now, that's not everybody's form of rebellion. Just because I did it does not mean you have to do it. Just like how I'm smoking cigarettes and I'm drinking beer does not mean you have to do it as well. For the viewer that's watching this, just because I have a lit cigarette and I have an open beer does not mean you need to drink and does not mean you need to smoke. Rebellion comes in many different forms. For me, I smoke because I'm stressed 99% of the days. I drink whenever I'm making videos and that's it. I drink coffee most of the time. I'm a coffee addict. I'll wake up, I'll pour a fucking pot of coffee on, I'll drink 3 cups within, 4 hours. That's me for the day. Just because I do it does not mean you have to do it. This is not rebellion. This is what a stressed adult looks like. Pretty much what I'm saying is that this was my rebellion years. And I still have my rebellion years currently. I still have some ahead of me. But in high school, it was a little different. In high school, I was on top of the world. I thought I could do whatever I wanted. I was definitely picked on. I was definitely bullied because I would wear my attire all the time. I wouldn't stop for anything. I came in looking like a fucking greaser. I came out looking like a greaser. And people would hate me for that. Why? Because it wasn't up to societal norms. It's not what everybody was doing. So that was also another form of my rebellion. A lot of people were skaters. A lot of people did drugs. A lot of people were whores. Whether it be guys, girls, it doesn't matter. I stuck to myself. All I really wanted to do was go to the arcade, meet like-minded people such as myself. I wanted to have a community that was around me. I didn't have that. I had a community online. It's really hard to find people in this community that are actually all around you. I'll say that much. So that was my form of rebellion. Not a lot of people liked me, and that's perfectly fine by me. I wasn't there to please anybody. I wasn't there to turn heads. I wasn't there to do anything but be myself. And if you're watching this video, no matter what you're doing, if it's rockabilly, if you want to be a skater, if you want to be a fucking musician, if you want to be a mad scientist, if you want to be the most genius man in the world, who cares what everybody else is doing? It doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself and you're confident in what you're doing. And I was always confident in what I was doing. Even if I looked like a jackass to the rest of the world. Even if everybody saw me as a loser, I saw myself as number one. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you think. Pretty much, this is what got me into the scene. This is what inspired me. Movies, music, TV shows, video games, the car community, and the people that were at my disposal. Well, that sounds bad. I don't want to say at my disposal. The people that were online that were also doing this with me. Because when I was online, you know, like I said before, I had thousands of followers within a month. And then I found like-minded people just as myself. And that really did help me. That really did push me to see where I was going. So, yeah. As always, my name is Austin Toohey, formerly known as Dean Toohey, signing off.